Unplugged, where we are going to download everything from season 2 in the middle of space. So, space transmission, it's really great for and absolutely nothing else. And today we are going to do a full cast assessment of all of our season 2 players. And to help me, I have two very special guests. The first one is head camp counselor and cousin of 25 years to our Survive host, Miss Lane Barron. How are you doing, Lane?
I'm doing well, and
Don't have an ointment for that. And I'm also joined by blonde beauty, reality TV star, and former winner of season 1 of Survive, Morgan Elson. How are you doing?
Hello. Good.
Welcome.
Good. I'm really excited to be here.
Okay, how was day 1 for you guys?
Mom, I hate on season 1, but I think I had more fun on our first day today than I had all year last year. It was just so good. It was such a good first day. So
You guys also had a huge learning curve from season 1 and so much more help. I will attest, watching this, I'm already so impressed, and I was way impressed last year, even being a player. Do you feel the same, being a player yourself?
Absolutely. Last season was amazing, don't get me wrong, but we have taken it to the next level for season 2. Now being on the other side of it and really being involved from the production side has just been eye-opening as to what goes on behind the scenes. So just massive kudos to the production team. But yeah, super excited for the players, super excited for the production, and we're gonna have an amazing week.
Totally agree, and I'm so glad you talked about the players because that's what our whole episode is about. Today, are you guys ready to get into our cast assessment?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the way that it's gonna work, we got a chance to watch all of the players' initial interviews, and we have little card captions that we'll refer to here in the back screen. We'll talk about their player stats, what games these players have played before. They've been around all day 1, they've been through the casting process, they know what it takes to win the game. We're just gonna go one by one and see how we think they're gonna do. Does that sound fun?
Sounds great.
All right,
Let's go.
let's get to it. If we can go to our first slide, we have, I think it's Miss Elena. Oh look, this is our full cast. So this is Jovian, everybody that in pink will be, right? It's Blizzard, not Blizzard, right? Absolutely Blizzard. And they will always wear purple. So yes, she's a marketing coordinator, and the reason why she said she's going to win is she's going to channel her inner Elle Woods, like it's hard. This is wonderful because Survivor is what, hard?
Right. It's like a walk in the park.
Does anybody know Lena off the bat?
We both do.
yeah, we both know her personally.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start. I really wanted Lena on this cast. She is such a great player so far in this game. I also think that she's just super athletic. Like you look at her and she looks fit, but you wouldn't be like, oh, she's gonna be a front runner maybe.
Number 1. Mm-hmm.
She's up there. She's game. And I'd love to see it.
Okay, so jury material, winner material.
I would say.
So Lena has been really social. You can see her interacting with her members of her team. We'll get to Natalie, but I've really seen the connection of those two throughout the challenges throughout day 1. I also think Lena has maybe something to prove. She has played another LRG. She may want to do a little bit better than her other LRG. Won't spoil where she landed in that one, but
Why not? We have that for our viewers right now. Do we know?
we do, but it's not
I know.
live for that
I
allergy, so we won't
see.
spoil. But she may have some redemption that she may want to come in and improve herself.
She may deserve some justice.
Wonderful.
Is what I should
Well,
say.
I wrote funny, sweet, and disarming when I watched her first interview. So I. Wonderful,
Alright.
Don. So Don is on Blizzard. He's a logistics manager, 45 years old, from Huntsville, Alabama. He said that he's looking to transition to Survivor as become his favorite show. He can compete in any competition with anybody. He's a social butterfly, having moved many times in the army as an army with army parents. And I think most of this, which I noticed in his introduction video as well, really focused on the competitions. More so than like Lena, which was, we were talking more social. Do we know anything about Don?
I would say Don is very challenge focused. That I think is his biggest thing on his mind is doing at least decent in challenges. I'll say that the whole time that he's been giving us all of the updates on his workouts, how he's preparing, the
Yep.
weight he's lost. he's prepared, but I think that maybe that might hurt him.
Yep.
Because we don't have much of a.
Trailing off on his own a lot,
I see.
which could hurt him. But I think maybe they might just think it's dumb.
As a
So,
player of games, how critical is it that we do not trail off on our own?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I have noticed the same thing, especially at camp. You don't on day one, you do not want to be off on your own because people will think that you're looking for an idol, even if you're looking for wood and you're not even looking for an idol. People will peg you as you're looking for an idol. So something I've noticed is that he's been kind of trailing off when the rest of the cast is or the tribe is staying by the fire. So I think that could hurt him. But as she stated, he is challenge focused. He's married to another LRG star, I would say, in the community.
Okay.
Shout out to Amber. And I think he brings in a lot of experience just from that household. So he could do really well if he can rein in the social aspect of it.
Okay, so social and strategy, we think he'll be good at the physical. And that's what it's going to take for Dawn to win.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to our next cast member.
I don't know what to hit.
This is Natalie. Natalie is on Jovian as well. She's 28 years old from Portland, Connecticut, so quite a ways over here.
Yeah.
Human resources
Yeah.
manager. Do we know anything about what she does?
I wanna say she's just
Human resources.
HR.
HR,
She's
great.
As someone who comes from
lady.
HR, you just do it all.
And you won, so okay. She says, I love these kinds of competitions. I'm passionate about not just competing, but seeing how this stuff gets produced and created.
Sorry, it was just.
Are we good?
I think you're good.
Had some technical difficulties. We were just talking about how Natalie got casted. Lane?
So I was saying, me and Nikki really thought that Natalie was going to like come in and just be this super awesome beast and just so good and athletic. And then one of our other camp counselors, Eric, who knows her personally, said, "Well, I don't know about that." So now, yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing. But she seems like such a nice person. It's Lena really well, like Bergen was saying. And I'll let him touch more on that. But I've just noticed she does seem a bit more reserved.
Okay, Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, I think on this tribe, I really could see a dynamic of her and Lena and Ryan
Okay.
really teaming up. I have seen them
We'll talk
kind
about
of
soon.
interact throughout some challenges, but she has been really just funny in her chat. She does have that self-deprecating humor. So I do think that potentially, if that comes out and maybe we're just not seeing it yet, she could do really well from the social aspect. And I'm really excited to see her challenge strength further on in the game because I do think that she has it in her.
So the word that I'm hearing right now is dark horse. Is
Yeah,
that,
could
is
be.
that how we're explaining Natalie?
I'm excited to see more on day
Yeah,
2.
I'd
Okay.
love to see more.
Maybe it's a slow burn. Okay. Player is Angela, I believe.
Oh.
Wonderful. And Angela is a critical care traveling nurse, which guess what I do? I'm also a critical care traveling nurse, so I'm quite excited to see this player play,
Yeah.
knowing that nurses on live reality games and Survivor games tend to do very well. She's 40 years old from Brewer, Maine. She says, I'm a game player. I come in with one goal, and that's to win no matter what. I've been responsible for the biggest blind in both of the live games that she's played in because nobody expects me to be responsible for cutthroat moves. I will bring comfort to the tribe mates and lots of fun and drama for the fans.
Yep.
Now, those are some
Yes.
huge words. I want to know more since I haven't seen her seasons.
Yeah.
I know that when she was talking, she mentioned that as well, and she said there's a lot of people in this game that probably know who she is,
Yep.
and so she wants to play a completely different game. She's aware she has the self-awareness. Tell me about her.
I would say she definitely is being conscious and aware of that. I have noticed she's being more reserved. Don't get me wrong, she's in there in the conversations. She's not like, you're not watching her, but if you didn't know to watch her, she could sneak right in there. So she's definitely, but I feel like, she's got it in her. But yeah, she's getting along very well with the rest of the tribe.
She's definitely one to watch.
Okay.
If I had to put a star on a player, Angela's the player to put a star on.
Was she your winner pick?
She's not my winner pick,
Okay.
unfortunately, because someone else picked her before. But I think Angela could go really far. She knows what she's doing. She knows this game in and out. I have seen how she's playing a little bit in the back just because people know who she is. Angela's a name in the LRG community. She has won a game before, as you can read. She's really good at. I think that potential alliances for Angela is going to be with James and with Savannah. I have seen that the three of them have started to kind of canoodle, is the word that I would call that.
I'm not sure what that word means.
And I think that that could be a powerful trio going further in the game. So
Okay,
I'm
well,
excited on Angela.
I guess we'll see if her change in strategy yields a similar result then.
The one thing, I'll just put one more caveat on it. I could also maybe see Angela and James going after each other. They're very similar players, both well known in the community, know each other's game probably, so I
Okay.
could potentially see them wanting to take each other
Well, I'm
out.
excited to learn more about James, but let's keep moving on for the sake of time. Our next player is Ryan. Look at this handsome fellow right here, 30 years old, from Otsego, Minnesota.
Otsego.
Otsego! Okay. We're gonna work on those vowels later. Corporate fraud investigations. All right. And he says he will bring a unique interaction with other players. He believes that the competitiveness that he will bring to the tribe in individual challenges, he can find creative ways to win and still keep a strong social game. So it sounds like, I mean, just looking at him, he looks like one of the bigger guys in the game.
Yep.
He knows and is self-aware that
Yep.
bigger guys generally have a bigger target. But we've seen players in live reality games and on TV games that are big still win because their social games are impeccable, and
Yeah.
that's what he wants. He said very similar things in his interview. Who knows
Yeah.
anything about Ryan?
I know Ryan very well. So Ryan played in Live to Give, season 6, and I was on prod that season. The interesting thing with Ryan is he came into that game, he didn't know a single lick of anything about these type of games. One question that he asked was, well, don't we just raise our hands at Tribal to vote who we think is going to be voted out? So there was a lot of those type of things,
So we
and
learned.
he ended up making it to the final 3
Oh, he did.
of that game.
So in his interview, he said that something he learned in his last game that he didn't know that people were constantly lying.
Yes,
In these games.
Yes,
Right,
he's
fun.
learned a lot. Coming out of that game where he did not get the win, he went and watched every Survivor season out there, immersed himself in, and he is prepared.
Okay.
He knows not to go out because he was a challenge threat and Live to Give. So I think he's gonna come in. I've seen him play a little bit reserved. I expected him to beast some of the physical challenges today. He was last rolling the block. He didn't throw as many off of the blocks on the top. So he's downplaying that physical, which is exactly what he wants to do. And I'm excited to see who he aligns himself with. He has mentioned that he wants to align with one of the older females on the tribe.
He's on Jovian, so maybe we'll take a look at the older females on that tribe later
Yep.
and see if we're talking. Do you have anything on Ryan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like Ryan is extremely adaptable. He picks up on it like that. Like, he knows himself. He's very self-aware at this point. It's literally night and day from his first game. Like, and I wasn't there like Bergen was, but even what I've seen, it's completely different. I did his interview as well, and he talked about as soon as he was out of the game, watched every Survivor he could. He just did the whole and then preparing for this, he watched everything that was on
He
season
knows
1.
everything about season 1.
He knows
Alright.
all of the
Mhm.
cast members.
Well, I know I voted
He's very
people
steady.
off when they were saying that they knew too much about Survivor, so that is huge threat to me. So we'll see if he can keep his mouth shut and maybe win this time.
Yep.
Okay.
I think he could be up there.
Great. James is next, I believe, and we were just talking about James because we were talking about Angela, correct?
Yep.
So huge history in LRGs. James is 33. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's a server. I also heard bartender, manager, everything, juggler.
Yeah.
He says he's a great player. He plays with integrity and treats the game and production with the utmost respect. He has a survivor tattoo. He's
Mhm.
hungry for a live game victory and
Yes.
has never made it to a final tribal council.
Yeah.
How many games has this guy played?
So many.
167. If you could name a game, you could say James has played it.
Okay. But we've never won.
He's never won, but James is an incredible player. He's gotten second in probably 98% of the games he has played.
Mhm.
So he knows what he's doing. He knows this game, or games I should say, because I don't think he's played another Survivor game, or he hasn't in a long time. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to be social. He knows how to talk, and he knows how to hide behind someone if he needs to.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I need to say much more. He's gotten second every time.
Do we know, is he pretty cutthroat?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he could
He
be.
will bring the drama and the cutting the meat if we need it.
So in his interview, which are all posted online, he got very vulnerable and said that he has some recent trauma in his life,
Yes.
and he is going to be playing a very different game
Okay.
than he's played, which it sounds like Angela said the same thing.
Okay.
So I'm really curious to see if you think they're going to go after each other or actually link up together. It sounds like they might actually be in the same stage of life.
Well, in that case, I'm excited to see what different game they bring to
Yeah.
Survive Season 2. I think James is prepared. I would say that would be the one word that I have to kind of signify James in this game. He knows what he's doing. He's played a ton. He's hosting, so he's got that host mindset. So he probably has seen a lot of shows before. He knows the strategy. He could be one to watch.
Yeah, maybe he knows where an idol's hidden already, right?
And he does a lot of research. He found a secret hidden article that we didn't post about.
Oh.
And James found it and sent it to us.
The dark web is a place to go
Yeah,
if you want to
if
win
you need
Survive
James
Season 2.
for anything, you need him.
We got it. Okay. Well, our next player is Miss Amanda. She's an attorney, 34 years old, from, is this Juliet or Joliet? Help me with my vowels. Joliet. Great. Illinois. Why could she win? Winning many times is not about being the best, and it's not about convincing. When I was listening to her interview, she said her goal was to make connections, be social. She seemed like she had a challenge. She was the one to jump off.
Yes.
I would have chosen that. That's like
Yep.
the easiest thing in the first challenge.
Yep.
You do your task, nobody views you as a threat, but nobody says you were the weakest link. Tell me about her. Who knows about her?
You literally stole what I was gonna say.
Nail on the head. Great.
Exactly what you want to do on day one. Do not put yourself in the hero role. Amanda smartly chose that first one, which is literally jump in the pool, get to the end, and you're done. And then you are just coasting, watching everyone else do the other 9 challenges. So smart.
Great.
The interesting thing that I saw, the one aspect that I saw about Amanda, is that she told everyone she's an attorney.
Oh.
Normally, you aren't gonna want to say that. I guess in the real Survivor, a lot of attorneys maybe make up their profession or downplay
Did
that.
you make up your profession when you played and Survive?
I did not. I
Yeah.
said I'm a human resource.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. The jury's still out for me on Amanda. I think she's playing this game really smart. I think she has a sense of humor. I'm excited to see more.
Yeah, I think she's, again, super social. So many people on this cast, I'm going to say that for probably every person, they are so social. That's why we chose them. But she is getting on with everyone on her tribe. There's not a person that I have not seen her and talked to and with. And she also mentioned one thing in her interview with us. She said, I might not look like a physical threat. Much of a good swimmer she is. She is actually pretty physical. So I think people are going to
many times on national television too with these games where people that you don't expect to be physical threats win these insane endurance challenges.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and shout out to season 1 runner-up Barry because he knows Amanda, so he's excited about her.
Wonderful.
So I believe that if Barry has good taste in contestants, there's the connection there.
And
So
maybe we'll get to hear from Barry at some point later on down the
tune
road.
in, yeah, right.
Yes.
Might have a special guest.
Our next player is Danny Vogel. Danny goes by they, them pronouns,
Yep.
so let's do our best to respect that. 23 years old, Chicago, Illinois, and a consultant. Danny has many talents. Let's see what they said. I would rather lose this game playing hard than knowing I did everything I could do to win with no respect. I'm here to play the game and will make sure it's interesting from start to finish because I know I do not want to be watching it back with a sharp tongue that isn't afraid to back down from a challenge. If underestimated, it is always fun for me to prove someone wrong. Now,
Yeah.
I have a personal history with Danny. I thought I was in a perfect alliance with Danny the entire time on my time on Survivor BC. Little did I know that Mojo and Danny were stabbing me in the back the entire time. This is a player. This is somebody I know
Yep.
everybody should be afraid of.
Absolutely.
Tell me what you think.
So I haven't seen a lot of Danny. I'm not their camp counselor, but I will say from the bits that I have seen, you would be like, just they're a winner pick. I can't
Mhm.
put it into any other words. You look at them and you know they're going far. Like,
Absolutely.
they're not going home first, they're not going home second. They're making it at least to merge. I don't know like how I know that, but it's just you get the vibe.
Danny, as simple as put, Danny is a social, strategic threat to win this game.
Absolutely. And
Period.
that's exactly how it was on my season. Usually the louder players are the ones targeted, but for some reason, people do not target Danny early. So we'll see if that trend keeps going
May
on.
I ask you a question?
You may.
Okay. Do you see Danny and Mojo, if they get onto the same tribe, will they work together?
I think absolutely. My season, they had an amazing relationship, connection that transcended boundaries to the point where when both Danny and I were on jury, Danny was still playing the game to try and manipulate me so that I would vote for Mojo to win.
Okay.
Luckily, I heard them all out first. So,
Alright.
but I think their connection is amazing.
Yeah.
I doubt that they would play against each other. What I do know, which we'll talk about later, is that Mojo was the reason Danny left the game.
Okay. So we may have revenge coming.
I believe
I
the
would love
same
to see
trend will happen.
Okay.
They will link. Let's move on to our next player. This is Grace, but we go by G. G is 24 years old from Los Angeles, California. Actress, singer, songwriter, all-around talent, and beauty with purple hair. Why aren't we on Jovian?
Pink. Pink
Yeah.
hair.
Pink hair. Pink hair. You're right. I'm colorblind. But Jovian's the pink tribe. Why
Yeah.
are we on purple tribe?
Yeah, I know. We have to switch it up.
I'd
Keep
like
it
to have
keep you on your
some fun.
toes.
G says, I will win Survive because I've been surviving as a performing artist in Los Angeles for the past 2 years. I can tell you my brother does the same thing and we're still struggling. This industry can often feel like being thrown into the wilderness with no sense of direction, nobody looking out for you, nothing really but an extra pair of undies. Which, how many pairs of undies do we get in this game?
2. Wear
Two.
one in,
Yeah.
bring an
There
extra.
you go. All right. So it sounds like no stranger to survival, especially in a social
Yeah.
setting. How is G playing right now?
Personally, I'm so excited. G grew up in the same hometown as me, small town, Benson, Minnesota. I convinced G to play this game, so she is a first-time LRGer, but she is playing literally so good. Her social game is like way up here. Actually, probably if I look at the cast, I honestly might say G's social game is towards the top of the entire cast right now.
When I hear people talking at challenges, hers is the voice that I hear.
Mhm.
Yeah,
the loudest.
she's loud, she's funny, she's trying to be witty. As a first-time LRG player, she had to do the Tower of Hanoi, and she figured it out, and it was like, magic to her. Once she figured it out, she was so excited. She had the ultimate, best move at the end of the last challenge where she pulled it quick and gave the victory to her team.
So 2 hero roles.
2 hero.
Successful.
Yeah.
And a social threat.
Yeah,
Is
I
this
think,
too fast, too early?
I have to say I don't think it is.
No.
I think it's working in her favor very, very well.
Yeah.
I mean, she brought a guitar as her luxury item.
Okay.
So, she is for the people. She is for her tribe. You will hear her over everyone.
Yep.
But I honestly thought she was going to come into this more reserved.
Mhm.
She's everybody's best friend.
Yep.
She's talking to me. I'm like, girl, I'm not on your tribe. So please stop talking to me. But you can't like get
No,
away
can't
from
stop it.
her like
Charm.
inviting presence.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or the
Um,
shirt that she wore in, like, come on.
Yeah, she's just
Tell me about the shirt.
It's like a lady in a
the
bikini.
like those
Oh,
oversized
got
bikini
it.
shirts. Like
Got it.
she just came in here and you love her instantly.
Yeah, she's quirky. I think she, on her tribe, I think she's really gonna jive well with Marissa. Funny story, shout out to Maureen, her G's mom. Marissa almost looks identical to her
Okay.
mom. Can we put them side by side? But
Maybe
like
later.
honestly, like I think they will connect really, really well in this game.
Okay, we'll see.
Which
then.
I think I've noticed they really already are.
Mhm.
They're, I mean, not that she's not connecting to everyone, but she really is making those moves with Marissa. So
Well, if
Yeah.
we're connecting
I
with
think they're-
everyone, I am really curious who we actually have an alliance with.
Right?
Let's
Right.
keep moving on and see if we can find out. Jeff! Now that's a photo. Okay, this is Jeff, 32 years old from Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I was born as well, so I would like to meet him later. A radio personality. All right. Does he have a good voice?
he's got the radio. He like if it wasn't you, we would take Jeff out of the woods to do your role.
Okay,
He's
so
got
we'll keep
that-
him in the game for a little while because I've got a job to do.
We want to keep you in your job, but if you for some reason have to leave, Jeff will step in.
All right, perfect.
He's got that voice.
So he says, I believe I'll win because of my nearly carefree demeanor. I'm nearly carefree. Okay. I'm going to work on the social game. I'll be the player you want to grab a drink with. I'll get you drunk off my lame jokes and leave you with the tab. And that tab is my W. Hilarious.
Very.
I'm curious if he said that on his talk show. When I saw the interview, I said confident rock and roll vibe. I wrote sweet voice and real foot times 2. Do we-
So he's been on the production for Reelfoot.
got it.
His fiance, she has played Reelfoot twice, I believe.
Okay, so
So-
he's familiar with the game.
He's familiar with the game. He's familiar with all their G's and the
But has he ever
world
played?
of. Yes.
Twice
he
as
did
well.
play Reelfoot.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we have the experience. We have a swagger.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that he's going to do?
Personality is there for sure.
Mhm.
I've also noticed in kind of the first 3 challenges, he's definitely taking that like strong muscle guy role.
He has an arm.
He's definitely got an arm. You saw it in the beanbag one. The interesting thing with Jeff is that I think he might team up with Dawn if they ever get on the same tribe. I can definitely see the two of them there. I also have noticed that Jeff is reading a lot of like the tree mail and things at camp. So he's definitely a presence at camp.
So people
Um,
are looking at him.
Definitely looking at
You don't
him.
always want that.
And you
in a
don't
game.
maybe want to be that big, strong, physical threat right in the beginning of the game. So he's definitely funny. Personality's there. I just hope he can maybe downplay some of his like physical strength because his tribe isn't winning.
Right.
I am concerned about that
Okay.
myself. I'm afraid that he's not being as social as he
Mhm.
can be. So I had went out after our last challenge. I went out to the woods when we did our medical check,
Mm-hmm.
and Jeff was sleeping. So
Oh
He
no!
was sleeping during the medical
he
check.
was sleeping during the medical check. Well, when we got there, he was not.
The
'Cause
only one?
yes, and he didn't know how to set up his thing, so I had to help him. And then he immediately got on it and went to sleep. So
Okay.
it scares me. I will say
And it says he was gonna work on a social game.
right, and that's what I'm afraid of because
Mhm.
I thought Jeff would come in and just be this social god,
Yeah.
and he's sleeping at camp already when they were having a powwow. So
So-
it was scary.
So then maybe he will really actually have to rely on his physical, because when tribes want to keep you around for physical strength, you're gonna last for a while at least, right? That might give him more time to socialize.
Hey,
Right.
the only positive, you and I played a mini with him. At least he doesn't have Wi-Fi issues to worry about.
Oh my gosh, and he
No
He
Wi-Fi.
came after me, right? Oh my goodness. Well, we won that one. So we'll see if he can flip it around this time. Our next player is Alex. What a cutie as well. Alex is 30 years old from St. Louis, Missouri, an occupational therapist, an OT, so medical field, just like myself. This is quite a paragraph. So I found him to be actually quiet in his interview, so I'm surprised to see all of this vernacular over here. I'm one of those people that are the types of people that you want to compete against. I'll also be able to play a strong game. I won't be the most physically strong player out there, but I've got the endurance and the puzzle solving skills for immunity challenges. Socially, he grew up in the country and he now lives in a city, so he can build rapport with all walks of people, and that will hopefully allow him to weave himself through the game. That actually gives me a little bit more context, because when I saw him, he seemed quiet, reserved, but then he's going out on these challenges and he's stepping into hero roles, throwing the grappling hook, and doing a pretty good job. I think as a quiet person, he might have the respect of his tribe already. Who knows about Alex?
Yeah. Alex, I would say he definitely is the read that you got. He's more quiet, he's more reserved. Even in his interview, his initial interview, he was the same way. Even in his production chats, he's very quiet, he's reserved. He's a theater kid, so if he needs to put on a show, I think he can.
Okay, great.
I think, he can play a part if he needs to. But I think he's one to watch. I think he's gonna lay under a lot of people's radars, which will help him in the end. Like you said, he's stepping into those hero roles, but I think it's really helping him, and he's getting on really well with the rest of the tribe at their camp life.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I don't really have a lot to add. Quiet and reserved, but as you can see, endurance and puzzle solving skills. So I think he knows the game. He's smart, strategic. I'm curious. Do you recall what he did in the first challenge? Because I don't believe he did one of the two puzzles.
He did the first swimming.
He chose to jump as well.
Yep.
So it's interesting, right? Because that is a very interesting place to put yourself. Because if you're a puzzle solving skill as one of your strengths,
you don't necessarily want to show that off.
You don't want to show it off in the first, so that's smart.
Okay. So I'm hearing another dark horse on our
Could be,
Okay.
could be.
Great.
We have a whole barn.
We got and they're all dark horses. Okay. Our next player is Marissa. So Marissa is on Blazar, a customer success manager. She said a couple other things in her interview that kind of define that a little bit more, so maybe I can read that off.
Yeah.
52 years old, so our older players from Boise, Idaho. You said she looks like the mother of whom?
She looks like the mother of G.
Okay, so
Marine.
we'll keep that in mind as we talk about her. She says, I have a good heart and a Survivor super fan. I'd bring enthusiasm and joy to the group. I'd roll with the punches. I'd challenge myself. I would use what I've learned from the past 43 US seasons to inform my game. Even though she's an introvert, she's adventurous and fun, and she gets along with almost anyone. Now, her interview also sounds exactly like that. My notes for Marissa were, she seems like a leader, and she's an educator, right? Let's see somewhere she's an educator in special education. Is that what she does? Do we know? I thought I saw that somewhere.
I say that it is, but off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly, so I don't want to give any false info.
Okay, great. Let's not give false education. We know that she's an educator and a manager, a leader. It sounds like she deals with all sorts of different types of people. She has very confident voice.
Yes.
And for somebody that says she's an introvert, I did not get that at all.
Yeah, and as a customer success manager, who I support customer success in my work
With your HR.
with my HR. Yes. And so as a customer success manager specifically, you have to interact with all sorts of different personalities from different companies, different people calling in or having an issue, escalation, so on and so forth. So I think she has this calming personality about her. I don't want to coin her as the mom, right? But I feel like she has that comfort with a lot of people. I've really enjoyed my conversations both in the prod chat and in person with her this first day. So I really think she could go a long way. She has the experience. She knows the game. If she can get herself into some alliances, I do think G and her will connect. If they can connect and build an alliance, I could see Marissa doing really well.
Yeah, I would have to agree. To go off of I don't want to call her the mom, but she does get the great mom energy. You just go to her for comfort. You know she's going to be there with love.
So we got big mom energy.
Yeah, she just
BME.
has so much love. She's so comforting. I know she's going to be such an integral part to the tribe. I don't think they'll want to get rid of her early because she has such that positive energy. But she also is a Survivor super fan.
Yep.
Her and her daughter, they call it Wednesday nights with
Mhm.
Jeff.
Yeah.
It's their date night. So she loves Survivor. She knows this game through and through.
Okay.
I would say she's someone to secretly watch because she knows her crap.
Okay.
Dark horse.
She's
It doesn't really sound like a dark horse. She
I would
kind of
say-
sounds like Denise from season 25 of
Ooh,
Survivor.
there you
Sounds
go.
like she's the whole package.
I would say she's like all that and maybe 2 bags of chips.
Okay.
Not to be remiss, she also got the winning point for her tribe in the
That
challenge,
is
the
true.
reward challenge.
That is
So
true.
she did get that hero moment of bringing home the win for her tribe.
Which
And
is
she came up to me
integral.
after and said, I didn't think I would have this much fun. I'm so
Aw.
happy I'm here.
That makes me
So,
feel good.
Great.
She's loving
Especially
it.
after reading some of
She's
the
loving
comments
it.
down
Okay.
here.
So we have Marissa, big mom energy. Our next player is Mojo. So again, somebody that I know. A game developer, very specifically live reality game developer and online reality game developer, knows these games
Yep.
inside and out. 21 years old. Vancouver, did he move to Vancouver?
So,
Canada?
yes, he actually moved to Canada
So he is
to
from the UK.
play live reality games.
Yeah.
In
And that is,
America.
that was
Yeah.
his whole
Wild.
reason to move to Canada
Wild.
was to play games.
I believe it. So Mojo got second place on my season of Survivor BC.
Okay.
Mojo's game is so interesting to watch because he is sweet as pie. He knows exactly who is in a social situation.
Yep.
He knows the game inside and out. But when you're watching his confessionals, they are devious and strategic.
Ooh.
And
That's what you like to see.
it's what you like to see. This is a
Absolutely.
Survivor winner, or Survive winner.
Yep.
Apologies. Jojo says, I'm a massive Survivor nerd. Well, there we go. We already hit on that topic. And a triple fat, brain, brawn, and beauty. So I'm so strategically switched on so that with that attribute of my bubbly personality, I'm what you would call an unstoppable force in games like this. I would have said the exact same thing. Now, Mojo did not win our season because he got a little cocky in his final tribal speech and nobody liked it.
Okay.
So I'm curious if he learned from this because if he manages the jury at the end of a game,
Mm-hmm.
I say he wins every single time.
Nice.
Every single time. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would say it. I mean, you can't not gravitate to Mojo.
Right.
I mean, I think I filmed probably like 15 things where they're like, give us your English
Yes,
lingo.
yes,
And they're like,
yes.
they're like, tea and crumpets.
He
And
just
like,
melts into
Yes,
them.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
so he will be what people need him to be and he will go far.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to add here. I think he is so fun. The accent just draws you in,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you just want to hear more. He said so many things at check-in, and I was like, it sounds good.
Get
Right,
on in
like-
there.
He asked
Good
me
luck.
if anyone was in the loo, and I was
Lou.
like, Mojo, everyone's still at your tribe, baby. No one's there. But
He's
I'd
on
love to.
Yeah, I don't have much else
Yeah.
to say about Mojo because
He's one to watch.
we'll watch him. We'll watch him. We'll
That'll
watch
be
him. We've got 7 days to do that. Now, speaking of big mom energy, this is Carrie. She's 56 years old from Peoria, Illinois. She's a
Interesting.
former hairstylist. She's a hairstylist for over 30 years. Switched up her life, and now she shoots water up people's butts for a living. She's a colon hydrotherapist, and she's
You
my
seem to
mother.
know her.
Yeah, she's my mother. So obviously my winner pick. She would skin me alive if it wasn't. So, I create environments where I'm endearing and they will want to keep me around. Overall, I'm likable and my social game will be superior to everyone
Yeah.
else's. Now, before I tell you about
Yeah.
how my mom's prepared, I want to know what you guys think about her.
I can see the Survivor fan in her. Even in the first challenge, I mean, she was like down in the sand. She's like, Frank, you gotta dig, you gotta go, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So you can just see the intensity in her game. And I think if she can sneak out of these first couple of rounds, which I have something to say about that, if she can sneak out a few of these rounds and get into a group, I think she could do pretty well. Now, the reason I say that is she may or may not have drawn a short stick into a galaxy curse.
What does that mean?
So-
Should we save it for later? Okay. We'll have subtitles.
Oh,
in
shoot.
the-
We're on
yeah,
mute.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
What was my mom's interview like?
Well, I actually didn't get to see
Oh,
this
okay.
interview. But I will say, from what I'm hearing, she's not doing the best with the group.
Bummer.
I've heard
Okay.
that she's been a little bit alienated. Her and Frank, the rest of the group
Okay.
has gone off without them. Don't like to hear it because I
Yeah.
don't like to see it. I think she would do so well in this if they gave her the chance.
Okay.
But you know that short stick could really help her.
It could.
A short stick could be a
Never know.
long stick for Carrie here. I will say she is so freaking prepared. Her
Mhm.
updates, the same with Dawn. She was sending us her workouts,
Mhm.
all of her Survivor, like everything she's watching. She's ready and she's prepared, and I would hate to see her not be able to use that preparation that she's done. So I hope that short stick
Yeah.
works out for her.
One other thing I just remembered, I had a really good conversation with her before her intro confessional this morning, and she is wearing a necklace that looks like an immunity idol,
Oh,
as well as a bracelet in the colors of like purple and pink. So maybe she's smart enough to like
Fashion and Idol.
fashion an idol.
Oh,
We'll see,
okay.
you know?
She did say that she had watched season 39 and was thinking about Island of the Idols and
Yeah.
how she would hide idols and all sorts of stuff. She is going to downplay how much Survivor she has binged over the past 6 months.
Yep.
And do we know who started a fire on the tribes?
I will say I heard it was Miss Carrie.
Yes, she can
Mm.
start a fire with a machete in
I
under
heard
2
under
minutes.
2 minutes.
There we
Yes,
go.
she can. So that's enough me goo guying over my mom. Let's move on to the next player. This is Frank, so somebody that is also not in the best spot right now, but let's talk about him and learn more about that. Frank is 67 years old, so I think our oldest player in the game, correct? From here, McHenry, Illinois, we are computer repair tech, and isn't he a councilman?
So he's
here?
an
Alderman.
Alderman.
Yeah.
I don't know what that word means. Like the
He's
vowels, reading is
basically
hard.
on the council of something.
Okay, so
That's something
big
to
name
say.
here. Very excited to have him on the
Well
cast.
loved, well
Yes.
loved.
Frank says 5 years ago he was diagnosed with cancer, and glad to say he beat it with that determination of mind. Nothing is too hard to be if you set your mind to it. Wow.
Yeah.
Cancer survivor and a council
Absolutely.
member from McHenry. This seems like an amazing player to have in our game. Tell me about him.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I was excited for Frank. I got to meet Frank earlier this week. We went to actually his house and I got to meet him.
Wonderful.
He is super social. He has a ton of people always coming to his house, you know? He's a big name in the town, as you can see. I'm unfortunately bummed that he got put into one of the challenges that he did struggle with earlier today.
Yes,
and it
digging in
really-
the sand, right?
Digging the sand,
Mhm.
and it really gassed him. And I felt really bad about that because I do think that potentially that maybe made him feel like he didn't give his best effort and that the tribe is maybe feeling like he's a weak link for their tribe. Which isn't the case. It was a reward, and honestly, it wasn't even that like important of a reward. So I hope he has the fight in him to continue going on and pull out some of his social aspect because he is a social person. He also has been doing his research. He's fit. He obviously survived cancer. I mean, just an amazing person to have on the cast, and we're super excited. We had an article written about him, so
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of publicity with Frank being on the cast, and we're
Great.
super excited to have him.
Great. Anything to add, Lane?
I would just say, like Bergen said, he's a very well-rounded person. It's unfortunate to see
Yep.
the first challenge that he competed in, but you wouldn't really know that he was gassed out in that first challenge, seeing him in the next two.
Right.
He was right on in there doing the work. He didn't try to he didn't take that first difficult challenge and let it get him down. He put his spirits back up, so I think, like he said, nothing is too hard.
Wonderful. So what will it take for Frank to win and dig himself out of this hole?
A reset overnight.
Yeah, I
that's-
think just an overnight reset and maybe get him back into a good mind space.
Yeah.
Getting out there and socializing?
Yeah.
Okay, doing what he does the best. Our next player is Kevin. Kevin, also such an amazing smile. That was evident right
Yeah.
in his interview. He's an actor, 26 years old, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He says he's a huge fan of the show and I've watched enough hours to put my skills to the test. This sounds like a common theme here.
Yes.
I have the physical ability, social ability, and the mental fortitude to get through a competition like Survive. I have the perfect balance of strategy and fun. I believe that.
Yep.
His interview, he said he was nervous at the end of it, but his actor skills,
Yeah.
when that camera turned on, he was bright and bubbly. So I believe that this is also a player to watch.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. He is definitely one to watch. He was my winner pick.
Your
So,
winner pick.
He's my winner pick.
Okay, so Bergen's got money on Kevin.
I think he is a triple threat. I think he has the physical strength to win. I think he is super strategic. He knows the game. And how can you not say he's a social threat with that inviting smile into pulling you in? So I will say he is nervous. He was nervous. He's very prepared, but he was very nervous. And I have seen a few things. He also, again, first challenge, got a little stuck on his tossing the rings.
That's true.
So he was gassed. And so that I hope doesn't, bring the tribe down with him.
But his tribe's winning, right?
His tribe
Yes.
is winning. They've been steamrolling the first
Yeah.
day. So
Are you seeing anything in camp?
yeah, so what I've noticed with Kevin back at camp, he gets on with everyone. I will say I've noticed him a lot with Jorge,
Okay.
but he also gets on really well with Marissa.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'd love to see those two work together
He did mention that he wanted to work with a
with an
older
older
female.
lady as well.
An older female.
Yep.
Mhm.
Didn't I just say Marissa reminds me of Denise?
Yeah.
So is he the Malcolm to...
Overall, he's going to be someone that you should watch.
Not want to showboat on day one.
Okay.
After he got his don't want to showboat and annoy the other tribe, because then they will see you as a target.
Well, this will either be a success. This is his first game, right?
This is.
Okay, so...
First live game.
Yeah,
First
first time.
live
First
game.
is first
He has
time.
played
So we've
an
played
orc.
games. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Yep.
So then, yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right.
Wait, is it live again?
Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties. We are back and we're almost done, so hang with us for 3 more. We were just talking about Jorge, how he's won a previous game and did not do well in another one. So, but we know he can play.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows anything about Jorge? Tell me about Jorge.
So Jorge is very social. He has won a game. Granted, it was a 2 or a day and a half long game. It's 2 days long, so it's very much different than 8 days long. He's not done something this long, so
What does that mean to you as a
Um,
player and,
I would
and the
say,
creator?
like the shorter it is, the less you're getting gassed out. The more time you're out there, you're not eating, you're not sleeping well. The bugs are. It's looking at 100 degrees this weekend, so there's a lot going on physically to yourself that is going to affect you mentally, which it could have effect on Jorge. He's not seen something this long. I will say that I think personally he needs to dial it back a little bit. He seems to be so excited, but it's a bit too upfront.
Too visual.
It's too visual. I would say he absolutely needs to dial it back a bit. I love to see the excitement as production and as casting members, but maybe the other players don't like to see that he's coming off a bit as a threat, maybe.
Because he's a bigger guy. Again, gorgeous smile. So handsome, physical. We know he can win. So the strategy is there. So if we're coming off a little strong, Bergen, what's it going to take for Jorge to win this game?
I totally agree. Something that I've noticed is he is the voice you hear in everything, which is good because that shows a leader mentality for your tribe. But do you want to be the leader on day one? I don't think so. Personally, I don't
That's not
think
how
so.
you play.
That's not how you win the game, okay? No, it is what it is. But he has been a very vocal presence, and he's in it on every single challenge and try to help people and really give his opinion, which shows he knows what he's doing. He is gonna be a big threat. The other thing that I just want to the question that you asked of like the short game versus the long game.
Yes.
On the flip side, potentially he knows how to play these games fast because in a 1 or 2 day game, it's round after round. You're
Right.
going crazy.
I host a one-day game.
You host
Right.
one day.
With 24 people usually, so
Yeah.
it's fast.
Fast.
So too soon.
And
Yeah.
might get bored at some point and be like, oh man, I'm a sitting duck.
He's not someone I would want to take post merge because I think he could go on an immunity run to the end.
So then maybe let's hope he gets on an immunity run and goes to the end.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be excited to see him in the final three.
Yeah.
Our next player is Josh. Josh is 25 years old from Chicago, Illinois, a production supervisor. I don't know a lot about Josh. He says, I'm going to be committed to the game and fun to watch. Plus, I'm a student of Survivor, so you will see a high level of gameplay out of me. That seems a little nebulous. I want to know more about his play style.
Yeah.
I wrote, super fan, never played a game. So that's interesting. Chess fan,
Yep.
plays chess.
I can totally see this.
Oh,
Everything
absolutely.
that you just said. Almost there.
Okay, we're back on. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll try and keep it going here. We were just saying that we might link up with Ryan, and that
Right.
would be a really good move for Josh.
They would be a powerhouse if they did link up. They would be challenge beasts. I honestly looking at them, they would be my top two for challenges. He's super physical, but he's also, like Bergen said, he's extremely smart.
Yeah.
I did his interview and I felt dumb afterwards. And I was asking him the questions. I felt like he was asking me questions. So I think he needs to be conscious of the way that he does come
Yeah.
off, because not that it's necessarily a bad thing, but in this game people could see it as a threat. They could be afraid of it. But I think if people aren't afraid of him, he's so freaking smart, and he will outsmart so many people.
Okay.
I want to know how he's interacting at camp. I know you're
So,
not on that
I
tribe, but
did-
have you heard anything?
Yeah, so I did pop over there for a little bit, and another person I think that, thank you for asking me this, another person I think he will link up extremely well with is Alex
Yes.
on his tribe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Again, another super smart person.
Yep.
They were,
Extroverted. Is Josh more extroverted? Do you think they would balance
I
each
would
other out?
say they balance each other out.
Yeah.
Josh is, again, he's more vocal, and Alex is more introverted.
Yep.
But even at the little powwow that I saw them doing, those two were asking them these, like, the other tribe members, these riddles. Only these two, of course, knew the riddles in their brains.
That's a little scary though.
So they're very smart, and I think that they could link up very well. And if they suck Ryan in there, they'd be a dynamic trio.
What did Josh do in the first challenge?
Josh did the math, which surprisingly he struggled with.
Alright.
We put some pretty big numbers in there, so you're trying to rush it. If he wasn't rushing, he would have done it in probably 30 seconds.
So the way you guys are talking about this player is the way I thought about you in the game the entire time. I remember being asked at a confessional, who is the biggest threat in the game? And I said, Bergen. I said, King Bergen. I had never met him, but I can tell in every challenge you do not want him in the game. And, well, we got me out before I even got a
Yeah,
chance
I didn't even get to play
with you. Yeah. Let's move on to our next player. We only have two left. This is Savannah. Savannah's 28 years old, also from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have.
I think so, yeah.
Good. Okay, we're back. So we have chameleon energy. Hack environment. When I listened to her interview, it sounds like she's played before. She thinks that she makes the merge, she wins. So it sounds like she knows how she plays in these games and what her threat level is and when. So if we get through the whole first half, what do we think about Savannah winning the game?
Yeah. I know Savannah personally. I've been on production of other games with her. I've seen her play. I played in the same season as her.
Oh.
So I know Savannah.
Okay.
Savannah plays with her emotions, and that can be a really positive thing, and it can be a hindrance to your game too. She's super smart. She unfortunately got stuck with the math, which I would have probably struggled with the math.
I don't even know how to read. So.
So it definitely puts your tribe it put her tribe behind. But like I said earlier, I think she is gonna link up with the likes of Angela and James, and potentially be a triple threat alliance.
Okay.
Very similar to what she said. I think if she gets into a good alliance and she makes she has a really good personality, and she invites you in, I guess is what I would say,
Okay.
in her person.
So high hopes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like you want to be Savannah's friend. She's super she just gives off good energy,
Vibes.
good vibes. But she's also super dedicated and really hardworking. So you put her to a task, she's gonna do that task and she's gonna get it done. She might be pissed, but she's gonna get it done. I've seen that personally outside of this game. So I just know that she's that kind of person. Like Bergen said, she definitely does play with her emotions. I've seen her play a game before with our host Nikki. She played a Big Brother game. But so she does play with her emotions. But I think if she dials that back a little
Yeah.
bit, she's got
We
it.
got a potential winner, I guess.
Not to mention, she does have some connections potentially on the other tribe.
Do we
So
know?
Yes.
Ryan has played Live to Give.
And
Lena has played Live to Give. So if they connect, I don't believe they all three really know each other,
Mhm.
but they have played the same game. So if they connect that puzzle piece, who knows?
All right, we will see. And our last and final player,
Yeah.
Meredith. Meredith is 37 years old from Chicago, Illinois. She's in dental sales. She says, I bet none of the other candidates have been endorsed for being good at fraud. On their LinkedIn profile, I have no idea what that means as a dental salesman, but that's hilarious. I did note great sense of humor, good posture, great smile, adaptable. I'm linking into.
So-
Let's pause, because I actually
Yes.
think that
She's not actually in dental sales. She's in
corporate fraud investigation.
That makes more sense.
she's in fraud.
Ryan.
That makes
I
more
was
sense.
Ryan is in dental
Okay,
sales.
so
I
let's
was
put
gonna say, did Ryan get a new job?
that.
Because
Oh, wow.
last I knew he was in dental sales.
It's been a long day.
But yes, so
Corporate fraud.
it makes sense, not with the dental, but yes, she is in fraud and she's very good at it.
Okay, this makes more
So-
sense then.
I love Meredith.
So does this
She's
mean she's a
great.
great liar?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And she has a personality. I've seen her personality. She is athletic. She is.
She's a softball player.
Oh my gosh, when she was throwing those bags, probably better than maybe anyone, maybe but Jeff.
Mhm.
Jeff had a really strong arm, but Meredith was just
A rock
laser
star.
focused.
Good.
Where she wanted
We
it,
love to
that's
see
where
a
it
queen
went.
with an
Yep.
arm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think she also knows the game very
she
well.
is a Survivor super fan.
Survive fan.
Yes, she's a
She's a
Survive
Survive
fan.
fan.
She's a
This is
Survive super fan as well
Like and
as
subscribe.
as well as a Survivor super fan. So she
Yeah.
knows the game in and out. She knows what to do. She knows how to be well liked.
Friends with the second runner-up of season 1, Ty.
Ah.
Congratulations to Ty and his partner
Yes,
Carolyn,
new
who
baby.
just had a new baby. So shout
Yes,
out to
I-
them. The other thing I will just say, there's a little passion behind Meredith. She unfortunately gave the win to the other tribe in the last challenge and was not very happy about it.
Interesting. What can you elaborate on the not very happy part?
After we so the challenge, they had to put things in a certain order, and unfortunately she did a check, she was wrong, and then she tried to go and pull down the
Curtain.
curtain.
Correct. Yes.
And we
were
said
already
that
out of
is
the game.
unfortunately not able to do that because you were eliminated. She was not happy, which allowed the other teams, the curtain to go up, the other team was able to look, get the win. When Meredith was not happy about that, she went behind her tribe and was just kind of by herself. And she knew in that moment, because all of her tribe's faces were like, great.
Can something like that ruin your game? Because we're talking about Carrie and Frank maybe being in some hot water.
Mhm.
But is that, I mean, nobody else got any points on that tribe.
Right. So
It's a reward.
I would say something like that. I don't think it's gonna ruin her game. It was for reward.
Yep.
And they had already lost 2 before that.
Yep.
So I think that the eyes are definitely looking around the tribe
Yep.
to pick someone, but I don't think that put her in that position to be the one.
And let's be real, their camp is superior to the other tribe. They have literally put a lean-to, they have put benches.
Okay, Blazar has
Sorry,
kids on
sorry,
their tribe.
sorry.
Listen, if you go back out there, it looks nice now.
Maybe we'll save this fight for another episode. Just noticed your alien earrings, by the way. They're adorable. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Bergen and Lane, for joining me on this
Thanks for
past
having us.
person. I hope you guys had an absolute blast. Again, Zach, 5 to Survive Unplugged, and good night.
Good night.
Before we end really quick, I want to say happy birthday to season 1 alumni Nick. The
Challenge Beast. We actually have him
behind the
here.
camera.
We
Show
can
him,
get a
show
little-
him.
Come on over here, Nick.
It is his
Leave the
birthday
beer
today,
out,
the
Arlo.
second time he has celebrated
Cheers.
with
Happy
Survive.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
So woo!
All right.
Have a good night.
We'll see you guys
Bye.
tomorrow.